What if everything you were told about 1944 was only half the truth? What if the real story was buried on purpose? Because it was too dangerous to reveal. The official trailer for 1944 Episode 1 doesn't just tease a story, it shakes you. And once you see it, you can't unsee what it hints at. The year is 1944. A time the world remembers for war, loss, and sacrifice. But this story doesn't begin with heroes marching forward. It begins with silence. A heavy, uncomfortable silence that feels wrong from the very first moment. The trailer shows empty streets, tense pauses, and faces we never fully see, as if the truth itself is hiding. There is fear in the air. Not loud and dramatic, but quiet and deep. The kind that follows people even when no one is watching. Episode 1 hints that something terrible is about to happen. Something that was not written in history books. You hear whispers instead of speeches. You see hands shaking instead of flags waving. This is not a story about glory. It is a story about choices people were forced to make when survival mattered more than honor. The trailer makes it clear that in 1944, danger didn't always come from the enemy. Sometimes it came from within. What makes this shocking is how normal everything looks at first. Homes, streets, people going about their lives. But slowly, the cracks begin to show. A glance held too long. A door closed too quickly. A secret passed in silence. Episode 1 promises to uncover the moment when trust breaks and fear takes control. And from the very first scene, you realize one thing: this is not a story meant to make you comfortable. This is the beginning of a truth that was never meant to come out. 1944 was not just another year in history. It was a breaking point. The trailer slowly reminds us that this was a time when every day felt like a risk, and every decision could cost a life. Episode 1 places us right in the middle of that pressure. You don't see big battles or loud explosions right away. Instead, you feel the weight of waiting. Waiting for news. Waiting for danger. Waiting for a knock on the door that could change everything. The story shows ordinary people living in an extraordinary nightmare. These are not soldiers on the front lines. These are families, neighbors, and strangers forced to play roles they never chose. Fear becomes part of daily life. Smiles feel fake. Silence feels safer than speaking the truth. The trailer hints that everyone is hiding something, and no one knows who can be trusted anymore. Episode 1 suggests that power in 1944 did not always belong to the strongest, but to the ones who knew secrets. A single piece of information could save someone or destroy them. The atmosphere feels tight, almost trapped, like the walls are slowly closing in. You sense that the characters are being watched, judged, and tested without even knowing it. What makes this setup so intense is how real it feels. There are no clear heroes or villains yet, just people trying to survive in a world that has lost its rules. The trailer makes one thing clear: the events of 1944 didn't just change history, they changed people forever. And Episode 1 is where that change begins, quietly, painfully, and without mercy. As the trailer moves deeper, Episode 1 begins to show its darkest side. This is where the shock truly begins. The story hints at a secret so heavy that it could destroy lives if it ever comes out. You don't see it clearly, but you feel it. A sudden pause in the music. A look filled with fear. A moment where someone realizes they have crossed a line they can never step back from. The trailer suggests that in 1944, some people survived not because they were brave, but because they made choices they still regret. Episode 1 points toward betrayal, quiet, painful betrayal that happens behind closed doors. Friends turn into threats. Trust becomes a weapon, and the most dangerous enemy may not be the one outside, but the one standing beside you. What makes this so shocking is how fast everything can change. One decision, one name spoken, one secret revealed to the wrong person. Episode 1 teases a moment that splits lives in two, before the truth and after it. You can sense the fear in every movement, as if everyone knows the truth is coming, but no one is ready to face it. This section of the trailer makes it clear that history was written by those who stayed silent. The real cost of 1944 was not only bloodshed, but guilt. Episode 1 dares to ask a dangerous question. What if the people we remember as victims were also forced to become something else? And once that question is asked, there is no going back. As the trailer comes to an end, it doesn't give answers. It gives warnings. Episode 1 is not shown as a complete story, but as the opening of something much bigger and much darker. The final moments feel heavy, almost hopeless, as if the characters already know what lies ahead. Even if the audience does not, the silence returns stronger than before, leaving behind a feeling that something terrible has already been set in motion. The trailer makes it clear that the choices made in Episode 1 will not stay in Episode 1. They will spread, grow, And Destroy lives far beyond this single moment in 1944. You sense that once the first secret is exposed, more will follow. Lies will collapse, loyalties will break, and no one will walk away unchanged. There is a strong feeling that the past is not finished with these people. Even if they survive the war, they will carry its weight forever. Episode 1 is presented as the spark, the moment where fear turns into action and silence turns into consequences. The story does not promise justice. It promises truth, and truth in this world comes at a high price. The trailer ends by pulling you closer, not pushing you away. It leaves you with unanswered questions and a sense of danger that hasn't passed. One thing is clear. This is not just a story about 1944. It is about what happens when people are pushed too far. And episode 1 is only the beginning. The trailer doesn't end with peace. It ends with a feeling that stays with you. Episode 1 opens a door that was meant to stay closed. Once it's open, there is no turning back. The past begins to chase the present, and every choice starts to matter. What happened in 1944 was hidden for a reason. Now, the truth is rising, and this story has only just begun.